Nick gave me this gift because he knew that he wasn't sure that I could live without him. I did everything I could to save his life, and I couldn't. I'm the mom. I'm supposed to kiss it and put a bandaid on it and make it better. And I couldn't fix it.
So what we're doing today is talking about grief, but we're talking about a grieving mother who took her son's vision on his deathbed and turned it into an incredible gift to so many other families who are dealing with what she had to deal with, but now in a more comfortable way.
He had a dying wish, and he made it very clear, simple statements, and they've taken that into a multi-million-dollar foundation.
Organization called the HEADstrong Foundation. Cheryl Colleluori is just an incredible human being, and you will feel the passion from her because I've met her before. And I felt the passion from her. I was so moved by her.
Yeah, and her story.
That I called Mark immediately, and I was like, we have to talk to her.
Yeah, and you know what? I can't wait. I think it's going to be an amazing episode. We've done episodes in the past of people who've lost their kids. It's always heart-wrenching. But there's a positive spin here because of what that loss has meant to so many other families that would not have benefited had Cheryl not lost her son, Nick. I can't wait to speak to her.
It's unthinkable. No one wants to even think about it. But she has things that she can help other parents with, including Nick's house. And I can't wait to talk to her.
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah.
Hey, Cheryl, thanks for joining us.
Do you want to just tell the story? What happened? What happened to Nick? I know he was a vibrant, healthy lacrosse player, right?
Nick was a tremendous athlete. So he was a 3-sport athlete at Ridley, captain of 2 teams, football and lacrosse. His dream was to play at the Division I level, and I chuckled because he wasn't big, but he had the heart of a lion, and he had the mentality. When I tell you his mental outlook was something that I've not yet experienced again. He thought, like, I'm 6'5". He was a 150-pound nose guard starting as a freshman, and the first in football, and the first play, he knocked the quarterback down, picked up the ball, and ran and scored a touchdown.
Whoa.
And this is a kid that, he was recognized by the Eagles, and we went down, and they took one look at him, and they started to chuckle because you just didn't see this powerhouse.
The stats, and you look at the kid.
You look at the kid, and you're like, this doesn't make sense. Right. On the lacrosse field, the same situation. He was a 4-time state champion out of Ridley High School, 4 years. And I think that might be a record. My 2 younger sons made a pact when they were little boys, 7 and 8 years old, that they were going to play at that level. And that dream was realized for 3 weeks. Nick's sophomore year, Michael's freshman year, they were together. And Nick, we had a sudden onset of allergy-like symptoms, and it was just like a whistling right nostril. Now, I never associated cancer to a whistling right nostril.
I don't think anyone would.
Doctor said, at some point in your life, you're going to need your adenoid removed. I said, I want your next available appointment. We went in, and we had the adenoid taken out. There was no restriction, so he could go right back to school, and he was really excited to get back into the fall season. And when I was by myself, and when the doctor came out of the OR, he said, Mrs. Colleluori, can I speak to you in this office? I'm like, me? And he said, you were right. The adenoid needed to come out. And he said, but I didn't like the texture of the tissue. I said, well, it's been irritated. And, he said, or lymphoma. I almost fell off the chair. I was like, I don't remember much. My legs kind of buckled. I'm like, lymphoma, what do you mean? And I did not know that the adenoid was part of the lymph system, and the source of Nick's cancer was nasopharynx area. And so we began this 14-month, very, very difficult journey. And Nick did not respond to treatment. It was during that time that, Nick really recognized a lack of available resources for him, not only for himself, but for our family. And it was 2:00 in the morning one morning, and we were inpatient. And he woke me up. I stayed with him whenever, he was at the hospital. And he said, would you read this? He passed me this piece of paper. And I'm reading it, and I'm like, what is this? And he said, well, I'm going to create an organization. I said, what do you mean? He said, well, you should not be sitting on that chair, and resources should be available for patients, and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like,
wow.
Really? And he said, I'm going to use my platform as a Division I athlete. I'm going to take a stance against this disease. I'm going to bring awareness to what families endure, both financially, emotionally. And he was so determined. And the HEADstrong Foundation was born from his hospital bed. And then, yes, as we were going into the OR, we were sitting in the waiting room. He was on the gurney. And he said, do you have a piece of paper and pencil? I'm like, I have a napkin. He's like, I'll take it. He's doodling away. Turns it around. He went, logo. I said, you have got to be kidding me. We came home on hospice, and what did it even mean, hospice? We were home 1.5 days.
What?
Wow.
1.5 days.
Had he deteriorated to the point where that makes sense? 1.5 days, or was it something
more?
Well,
we left the hospital with zero. He had 0 platelets. He had 0 red cells, 0, white. He had no cells. And I didn't know what it meant to go home on hospice. Yeah. I had no experience with this.
Sure.
We came home Saturday afternoon, and he was gone Monday into the Sunday night into Monday morning.
Wow.
Yeah. And we never talked about, I'm sure he knew, but it wasn't, why did we need to mention it?
Right.
Like when we got in the car, from going home, and he took the keys from my husband and said, Dad, get in the back. You're too upset. I need to talk to Mom. And so we got him situated in the car, and he's like, before we pull out of the garage, like, we need to talk. So, I think that was his way of saying, because he was like if things don't go our way.
Yeah.
3 things. One was that he would be in his Hofstra uniform. 2, that there would be a scholarship at our local high school, so that someone else that bled green his spirit would continue. And then he said, but finally and most importantly, you have to promise me that you'll take the HEADstrong Foundation over. I'm like, what? He said, Mom, it's so important, and you have to promise me that other people that follow in my footsteps will benefit from my life, was his exact words. And he said, we're not going to have this conversation again. And he said, the brotherhood of athletics will never turn their back on you, Mom. Mm. And I know that you can take it to the heights that it belongs. Mm. And that was the only time we kind of talked about it. And I said, I promise you. I promise you this, that I will do my best.
I know some of the good things that you're doing, but go through the things
Yes.
that the foundation does.
Well, one thing first I wanted to say thank you for this opportunity to allow me to share my story. And, I love Game Changer, because we are game changers for cancer patients. Really, our focus over the next 30 years, our long-term vision is our next house. And that is access and affordability to cancer care. There's a lot of people that are told that you need to get to Philadelphia for treatment. Well, how am I going to do that? How am I going to leave my support system? Where am I going to stay? How am I going to afford this? And so Nick's House was born in 2011. And when we went back and we did a deep dive, it's like Nick's House kept rising to the surface. Like, you do this really, really well. Why? We've lived it. We met families living out of their car at Penn. We met a family that, they had nowhere to go, and we let them go home to our house to shower and do laundry. And, we thought if we could ever do something to help that, to give people the opportunity, we would. And we opened our first facility in 2011, and it was almost like a test pilot. Like, can we do this? How's it going to work? And, we went into it like blind.
Yeah.
And boy,
sometimes that's best.
Yeah. And you know what? We learned a lot of valuable lessons, but one thing we realized was the need. And, the hospitals kept saying, geez, could you expand this? We need more, Yeah. So in 2018, we bought Nick's House that we have right now. It's an 8,000 square foot estate. It's absolutely magnificent. We host 7 families at a time, and the families move in and they become one family. And they're able to do whatever they need to do, make memories, get to the hospital for their care. We have a fitness center. We have an office for, if the caregiver needs to continue to work, we have all that available for them. All the comforts of home without the worry.
Wow.
And it's really a special place. It's so much more than, a home. It's promise. It's hope. It's, and we've had so many success stories that wouldn't have been that way had they not had this opportunity, because where somebody lives should not determine if they live. And so May a year ago, we opened our second facility in Boston. Both facilities are full, which is unbelievable. And now we have a third one in the works. And so our long-term plan is to be aligned with all of the nationally recognized cancer institutions as a complement, allowing their patients to get that life-saving treatment.
How do you choose the families? I'm sure you have families coming to you all the time that need that
do.
service. So
Yeah.
how do they get in?
So it's first come, first in, first out.
Okay.
The first application we get is the person that gets the reservation. Unfortunately, we're full a lot.
Right.
Yeah.
And I hate like heck when that happens, but we try to ask people to give us as much notice. But sometimes they're admitted in an ER, and they're 5 hours from home.
Right.
And, they're going to be here for a while. Our average stay is about 8 weeks.
Wow.
Average savings during that 8 week, it's about between $10,000 and $12,000 for 30 days.
Wow.
Especially if there was a hotel stay involved. Where do you come up with that money?
Yeah.
These
That's out of
people
pocket,
arrive
yeah.
on our doorsteps, and their wallets are emptied, and they're here on a wing and a prayer. And we welcome them in, and we become part of the process, their healing process, their support system. It's really wonderful.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And how is this different from like a Ronald McDonald House type
Well,
situation?
Ronald McDonald House is really respite for mom and dad.
Okay. Oh,
So,
really? Okay.
yeah,
So I know nothing about that.
Yeah,
place,
so
but-
they're running back and forth. They're taking a break, and they're running back and forth.
Okay.
And when treatment stops, they typically go.
Yeah.
It's like if somebody's in for 5 days. So we're long term.
Okay.
There's also costs involved. Ronald McDonald has a daily cost.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah. And Ronald McDonald is a wonderful service, right? But it's critically and chronically ill children. So it could be, diabetes or heart disease or, or arthritic problems, cerebral palsy, whatever. We are solely oncology.
Solely oncology.
Yeah. So there's a few differences.
Wow.
Yeah.
So now you're going to expand just one Nick's house in each cancer area that will house
Yeah.
7
I'm not going to say just one.
because I'm like, oh,
It
it
all
sounds
de-
like we need more.
Well, it all depends
how
on
much
funding.
funding.
Yeah, it all
Yeah.
depends on funding. I mean, we have somebody that's already begging for another one in Boston because we're always full. But we invested $2.5 million in Boston.
Yeah. So let's.
And so I've got to
write me a check.
So yeah, exactly. I need me a sugar daddy. No. But
So is the facility in Boston similar to the one in Philly? Is it in Philly?
well,
by way?
the similarities are the non-negotiables: free of
Right.
charge, long-term accommodations, those sort of things. The office, the fitness center, those things are pretty standard.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like the same. We couldn't find what I realized that Boston's Boston, and wherever we go, we'll have its
Yeah.
own identity. But
Right.
they're lime green doors. It's a non-negotiable. Lime green represents the mature B-cell non-Hodgkin's lymphoma that Nick had, and which is just an important color to the organization. So,
How many families does that hold?
7.
7. That seems so many. That's big.
It's wonderful, isn't it? It's
Yeah.
about
Yeah.
100. It's 100 plus a year.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah. Pretty sharp, isn't it?
Yeah.
I know. I love it.
So how do you go about raising funds for this? Like, what do
I
you guys do?
beg.
Yeah.
Of course, we are a 501c3, and we are 100% supported by the public, really, through donations. So, if somebody would like to make a donation, they can certainly come for a tour, and they can see firsthand their dollar at work.
Yeah, that's great.
That's the important piece. It's like when I was with the gentleman the other day, and he got very, very emotional, and he said to me, the hospital healed me physically, but HEADstrong Foundation healed me emotionally.
Wow.
And I thought,
What a
wow,
statement.
that really captures it. That's
Yeah.
wonderful. But just giving people that opportunity to access care, in hopes of a greater outcome is really the future of the HEADstrong Foundation.
Tell me a success story. You said there's so many.
Oh my
goodness. Is there one
gracious.
You can think of that you can?
I can think of one. I can think of so many, but we had a family that traveled hours. We had several, but the one family in particular traveled from Knoxville, Tennessee, and they arrived on the doorstep with two babies, 2.5-year-old little boy and a 9-month-old little girl. And unbeknownst to us, both children had the same cancer.
Oh my gosh.
And they were misdiagnosed. And then when they finally were diagnosed correctly, the doctor said, you got one shot, and that shot is in Philadelphia. He quit his job. She's a teacher on sabbatical, and they drove 900 miles, and they were with us for about 3 or 4 months. And, you know, both kids are doing well.
Oh, my goodness.
Wonderful.
And so
That's a great story.
That's amazing, right? We had another family that, our very first family at Nick's house in our new facility, this gentleman came in and he was in a wheelchair. And the house is all ADA compatible, mind you. My Nick was in a wheelchair at the end of his life, and we want to make sure that everybody's welcomed. And so this gentleman came in and in a wheelchair, and his cancer was external, and I had never seen it. It was on his outside of his body.
Wow.
To the point where if you looked at him, your eyes teared. Like it was, you know, really. And I thought to myself, this man is never going to make it. 2 years goes by, and I get this letter in the mail with a picture, and it's a gentleman, and he's in a tuxedo, and he's walking his daughter down the aisle, and I'm like, who is this? And here it was Joe.
Oh my gosh.
And he is in complete remission. And I think to myself, wow, we played a part in that. We were a game changer in that man's
Game
life.
changer.
I just feel so connected to Nick, and a lot of the guests, they feel very inspired by Nick.
Yeah.
We have his portrait above the fireplace
Nice.
in both locations. And I find a lot of times the patients are kind of like staring at it, and I feel as though they're pulling strength from him. It's not easy. It's certainly not easy. But here's my philosophy. I've done hard. I said goodbye to my child. So what's the worst that can happen?
Right.
Somebody says no.
Right.
You know.
Suddenly it's not that bad.
No.
Yeah.
It's not that bad.
You talked about how your kids coped.
Yep.
How your husband coped.
Yep.
You didn't talk about yourself.
I never do. I don't know how to answer that.
Or are you still dealing with it? Right? It
I'll
never
deal with
goes
it for
away,
the
but
rest
in
of my
that
life.
moment.
I'll deal with it for the rest of my life. You know, it's funny because a year after my son passed, I had this woman call our house. And she said to me, you know, I was the grief counselor at Ridley, and I was there for a month. I said, what? Like, I didn't even know what went on outside my own front door. And she said, the community was devastated. And she said, I'd like to offer my services to you and your family. And so I said to the boys, you know, what do you think? You know, no, you know, they're macho. My husband's like, no, I don't think so. I said, well, you know what? I'm going to go. And I went. And it was amazing because she said to me, what bothers you? And I said, people say I have to stop questioning why. And she said, people say to me, I have to stop crying. And she said, Cheryl, you are never going to stop crying. I'm like, ding, 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 ding. Somebody gets me. And she said, you know, if I go out, if I leave this room and I come back with God, and you can ask him, why Nick? Why didn't he respond? And he would give you an answer. The answer would not be good enough. I went, she gets it. She gets me.
Do you believe in afterlife? Because we've had many people in here recently who literally, and you can watch some of our episodes, say that you will be with your loved ones again. And it makes me feel...
Yeah, my husband really believes that. You know, it's funny. I've gone to several mediums because I'm, you know, a loon and trying to, like, you know, to give answers and stuff. But The one medium just really, it was like that he was right there and talking to me through her. And man, like she knew she knew that. So Nicholas had a girl that they were together for 8 years, and they exchanged their wedding vows the night before.
Oh no.
He passed away, and he had a wedding band on his finger, and I never knew, because she said to me, he's telling me that there was a marriage, but it was non-traditional. Does that make any sense? I'm like, oh my goodness, yes. And I didn't say a word about this. And she said, oh, he's showing me the ring, and he's showing me the inscription that our love will last forever. I never knew until that moment about that inscription in that ring. And I confirmed it after, of course, with Jordan, with this girl. And so we moved, and we had a nice family, young couple with 3 little boys, actually 2 boys and 1 little boy on the way, which was my Nick, move into the house. And she kept hearing these noises, and she got scared. And so they put cameras up. And the night of our gala, unbeknownst to us, she got an alarm that somebody was in the family room. And the cameras went on, and it captured. And, I'll show it to you. But she sent it to my neighbor and said, you have to get this to Cheryl, because I knew it was Nick. I wasn't afraid in any way, shape, or form. And I know that he will always protect us in this home.
Oh, my God.
And when I got it and I saw it, there was not a doubt in my mind that it was him.
Of him.
We started the HEADstrong Foundation with a $67 purchase of shoelaces to shut Nick up. He would not stop. Relentless. There we go again, that word relentless. Yeah. He's like, Mom, I want to get these lime green shoelaces. I think it would be a great, we could sell them, and people were going to be talking about them, like, what's with the lime green laces and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, all right.
He's a brilliant marketer, too.
And so, so we got the laces, and then the first team that banged on our door was Drexel. They were playing University of Virginia, and Virginia was the national title. They held the title. And the team walked on the field with the lime green laces.
God.
It was on television, nice. ESPN. And everybody's like, what's with these lime green laces? And so then they were like, oh my God, it's for Nick Colleluori and the HEADstrong Foundation and blah, blah, blah. Boom. It just ignited from there. I followed my gut. I followed my heart. And I found my way.
Mm-hmm.
So,
sure did. You're helping others find their way.
Yeah, it's the
amazing.
best.
Oh my God.
Good stuff.
Cheryl.
Thanks.
You're wonderful.
Quite the woman.
Thank
you. Really
you.
Yeah.
You guys did quite the family.
I appreciate it. I'm proud of my boys.
And hugs to your kids.
Yeah.
Because they've gone through it too.
Yeah. And we still go through it, I don't want my kids to know. They know what it's like to lose a brother. But I never want them to know what it's like to be without their child. But it is what it is. I did everything I could to save his life, and I couldn't. I think that was one of the greatest lessons that I learned, was that we don't control anything, and I thought I did. I thought I could fix it. I'm the mom. I'm supposed to kiss it and put a Band-Aid on it and make it better. And I couldn't fix it.
Tell everybody how they can reach the foundation.
Yeah, absolutely. Please. Follow us on social media.
She
as I'm wiping my tears. And it's really cool. Like, social media is powerful, and it really is so current on all the wonderful things that continue in Nick's name.
So HEADstrong on Instagram and Facebook.
HEADstrong Foundation. HEADstrong FND is our LinkedIn's another wonderful opportunity. But visit our website. We'll be revealing a new website shortly, headstrong.org, and donate.
They can donate right in the website.
Donate right through the website. Yeah, they can host an event, volunteer.
There's an annual gala. Do you have a gala?
Yeah, we have an event coming up on September the 18th. It's at the Switch House. We're switching it up.
Is there still room?
Yeah, October 18th is the day, Thursday evening. People that have come to our gala, it's not a gala. We're changing it so that it's not so formal.
Okay.
A little bit of networking and just a lot of fun. We're recognizing the HEMONC team at Penn, because it's our 15th year of doing this event. The goal would be to underwrite the house so that our guests continue to stay free of charge. But it's really just a wonderful evening of celebration, remembrance, inspiring stories of survivorship, and really education about the HEADstrong Foundation. So silent auction, live auction, and wonderful food. It's V by Chess Cafe Group is who does so
nice.
the food's amazing.
Oh, yeah.
This is their brand new venue.
Wow. Okay.
And so we're changing it up a little bit so it's not so formal. People can come right from work.
Oh, sweet.
Instead of having to,
right, get all gussied up.
Yeah. And so we wanted to make a little bit of a little change because it's the 15th year. We don't want something to get stale. But we've got some things up our sleeve that we really don't like to, we like to surprise people.
A little mystery.
Because people leave and it's like, whoa. And because Nick was whoa. And we want people to, take a little piece of Nick with them because if that happens, we just improved our world.
Yeah.
So.
And you're doing it.
Wow. I'm going to try and go. That'd be so fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Oh, thank you.
It was great to meet you.
I got to give you a hug.
Wonderful. We're getting hugs. I got to get hugs. Thank you guys.